Hello and welcome to another episode. It's been a while. I'm Jewish Charlotte Mason. My name is Bethany Mandel. And a couple things. First of all, I'm not paying anyone to produce this, and I don't know how to produce YouTube videos. So you're gonna have to bear with me. This is gonna be a little bit of a rough cut, and I'm not sorry. But I wanted to take this opportunity while my children have childcare, which is not frequent, to update you guys on a dental feast, because we are more than halfway through the year. And I promised you that I would check in before I started, and here we are. Here we are. See, that's something that would have been edited. So we are doing a dental feast, cycle 2. We covered the stuff that was in cycle 1 last year when we did another kind of curriculum. So first of all, what is a dental feast? So there's 4 cycles, and it is a full curriculum based on Charlotte Mason's methods, except for, at least I'm speaking in Form 1, which is sort of the younger years, except for math. Math, we do something separate. We use something called Right Start Math, which is great, and we really like it a lot. But otherwise, it's a full curriculum. We have, in here, we have history, we have language arts, we have music study, art study, what else do we do? Let me look at my schedule to, natural history, geography, art stuff. It's, you know, it goes through the whole gamut. So there's 2 sort of components to it. Number 1 is morning time, which takes us about 15 minutes a day. And number 2 is sort of the meat of the curriculum. So my kids are in 1st grade and kindergarten, and it takes us about 2 hours from start to finish to get through everything. I will say that 2 hours is also including Jewish stuff, Hebrew, although I did replace language in here with Hebrew, so that is a straight replacement. But we do add some Jewish stuff in there. Though I will say, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I mostly use holes that were already present in the curriculum. And so, like, she leaves places where you can add things in. So day 5 on morning time, she leaves as a choice. And so if we're doing day 5, which we often skip on Fridays, we'll do Jewish folklore and fables and all those kinds of things. And I've recorded another video about a lot of the resources that we use for that kind of thing. Day 1, looking at the schedule here, the day 1 is New Testament. So I cut that out and use Parsha instead. So we are a Jewish family, and it needs some editing. But the nice thing about a dental feast, as opposed to some of the other curriculums, is she very clearly delineates what is Christian and what is not, and it's easy to cut things based on that. So so we have mostly stuck to this. Let me tell you the things that we have not stuck to, and this is my own sort of personal failings, and it's not a reflection on a dental feast. Lord knows I have personal failings. So we do, just gonna show you, we are great with history, we're great with geography, literature. There's nothing in science for Form 1, so we're good. Natural history, we really like the books. Nothing for citizenship because we're in Form 1. Modern language, we do our own thing with Hebrew. We do a combination of workbooks and Gesher, which is a Zoom online program that we love. And if you take their classes, mention my name because I get a kickback. It helps me afford it. Latin, we don't start yet, but I'm super excited about when my kids get older. Math, I told you we're doing Right Start Math. Singing, we actually do this, and it's nice. Drawing, art, this is something that we kind of have not really done enough of. My oldest is really artistic, and so I feel like all of the stuff she does on her own is enough. We were doing bestowing the brush courses, and I recommend them. Again, my personal failing that we did not continue them, but I recommend them. And one day when I don't have as many small children as I do, I aspire to do some of the things that she lays out that are prettier. So one of the things is she has Wednesday tea time. We don't do that. It sounds delightful though, doesn't it? Wednesday tea time with a poem and some brush study. I'm not that mom. There's a lot of those moms on Instagram. I am not one of them. But other than that, we've really stuck with it. And I've loved everything that we have read and everything we've done. One of the things that I really, really like about Short Lacing in general, but also A Gentle Feast, is that we do, so this is the morning time. So you read straight out of Exodus, and you read the Psalms, and you read Ecclesiastes, and I have found that I'm getting so much out of it. And so the resources that we use for reading Psalms and anything else, Proverbs, Job, Ruth, Ecclesiastes, Esther, whatever, Living Nach, it's a great translation and I really recommend it. And I'm gonna, again, the comment section is always lots of really helpful links like this. So we use Living Nach, and I'm just amazed at the depth of conversations that we have with my 6 and 7 year old. I mean, he's not even 6 yet, almost 7. Almost, no, she's 7, he's almost 6. And then for Torah stuff, when we're reading Exodus for a while now, the Living Torah. So separate, Living Nach, Living Torah. The translations are fabulous and very readable, very understandable. And while I'm sitting here with my cart next to me, we've been working our way through this book now for like 2 years. So you can see we're about halfway, a little bit more. But it's great. They're like really digestible. If we have time during morning time, we'll often read them. Or on Fridays, we always read them when we do school, which is like not so frequent, which is part of the problem actually. My kids don't really do school on Fridays because things have gotten really crazy. So if we did school on Fridays, that's kind of where I partitioned off the idea of doing more art and more fun, pretty stuff. So if and when we start doing school on Fridays again, that's where we will hit that. So we're really doing a 4-day-a-week schedule. And then the thing that I really wanted to add back which we never really stopped doing, but it's hard to find the time in the week that I had scheduled for Fridays, is narration notebook. So I have my kids write in their narration notebook something that they read that week, and it is fabulous. And my kids have really come into their own and it's a great way for them to sort of narrate, to tell back the things that they've read that week that sort of had the most impact. And sometimes it's the stuff that we read at bedtime. So we also read a book at bedtime. We just worked our way through the first book of Anne of Green Gables, and the language is really hard. And I struggled reading it out loud the first couple days because it was such a change from the Boxcar Children, which is what we were reading previously. But I was amazed. We watched the movie, and at the end, my older 2 kids, 7 and almost 6, said, these were all the things they left out. And I was like, wow, you were really paying attention while you were jumping on your bed at 7 o'clock at night. So even though we don't do the tea time and we don't do the afternoon read aloud because life is so crazy, we still do a nightly read aloud. And so we're still getting that in. But other than that, that's basically it. We've loved it. So here's some of the beauty subjects that we've done, composer study and picture study. And I have just been amazed at the way that my kids have fallen in love with Vivaldi and with Mozart this term. They ask to listen to it a lot, which is amazing and really nice. And my son was asking if we could listen to Beethoven, if we could put that in here. And I said, no, we'll get to it. Lord knows it will be there eventually. And we also, we had a really wonderful conversation. Let me see if I can find it. So we go to Colonial Williamsburg a lot because we love it. And we were there in the museum and looking at all of the silver that they have at the museum in Williamsburg. And we found stuff from Paul Revere. And we had a nice conversation because we read a book about him, and but it was mostly about his ride. I can't find it now. Oh gosh. But we didn't really know that much about him as a person, and then we realized that he was a silversmith when we saw some of his work in the Colonial Williamsburg Museum, and it was really exciting to see that. Oh, here we go. So then we came home a couple weeks later, and this painting by John Singleton Copley is of Paul Revere. And I mean, it had been a few weeks, and we saw this picture and we were having a conversation about it, and my kids said, oh, he's holding a silver teapot. That's because he was a silversmith. And we had such a lovely conversation about the tools that he had in front of him, and all of that was because we were at Williamsburg, and it was just so beautiful to see my kids make that connection between the art that we were looking at, and then when we were in Williamsburg also, like we just stood in front of the case of silver for a good long time and had a conversation about Paul Revere and about silver. And I really, one of the things I really like about Charlotte Mason is she talks about the science of connections, and you're always forming connections, and so that was a really neat thing to make that connection in a museum, and then while we were doing artist study. So that's basically, and this is part of, by the way, morning time. So that's basically it. We have loved all the books that we've read, and the biggest fight is that they want me to keep on reading when I'm done with the reading that we've done. The nice thing about where we live is also we have access to Mount Vernon when we read about George Washington and all those kinds of things, and Colonial Williamsburg with other stuff. And we're hoping to go to Boston. We'll see if things open. I don't know. But that is sort of my mid-year review for Gentle Feast, and we plan on using it again next year. It has been lovely and exactly what we needed. Really gentle, but a feast. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Don't comment about anything else, just this video. I get weird comments sometimes and I find them obnoxious. I will leave lots of links in the description of this video for the Living Nach, Living Torah, my affiliate link for Gentle Feast. Please use it. Thank you. And anything else that I've mentioned here, like bestowing the brush or, whatevskis. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to make another video right now, so I will be still wearing this dress, about Charlotte Mason. Who was Charlotte Mason? Why who cares? Why did you name your channel after some long dead English woman? You will find out. Until next time, thank you guys so much for watching, and be well.